This is the Doctor, President-elect of the High Council of Time Lords.
I am definitely a madman with a box.
Anyone for jelly, baby?
I'm the Doctor. I'm 904 years old. I'm from the planet Gallifrey in the constellation of Castabras.
Hey Who fans, and welcome to the Big Blue Box podcast. My name's Gary.
My name's Adam.
And this is episode 48. It is roasting.
Yeah, it really is.
It is roasting. We're
This is
recording
the
on
UK,
Wednesday.
right?
Yeah. Oh yes, we're in the UK. It's weird.
Yeah, we're not
Yeah.
used to this.
Yeah. So it's 1st of July. Happy July. Happy 1st July, I guess. Hope you guys have had a really cool week. And as we record today, it's the hottest day of the year so far. So I think it's 30 degrees at the moment, and it's 11 in the morning, whatever.
Yeah, I just popped out to unlock the gate and stuff, and I nearly turned to cinders in that 5 seconds. I can't believe how hot it is.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it makes really, it's no problem, because we love doing this, but it makes recording really uncomfortable.
I've got 3 glasses of water.
It's an occupational hazard, I guess.
So I don't drive. In fact, talking about that, I'm just going to have a swig, keep myself going.
Go on, mate.
Oh, that's better.
Yeah, we're going to wait for you. It's fine.
That's cool. I'm ready.
So we hope you guys have had a fantastic week. And we had loads of comments still about the Doctor Who movie, even after we put the episode out. So
it did. Yeah.
That one struck a chord with you guys, even though it was kind of split. I think a lot of people really liked it, and then a lot of other people just completely hated it. I think we had 9.5 out of 10 from somebody, and then we had a 1 out of 10, or I think Tom Dix destroyed it. And then
I never realised it was so Marmite, actually, because I've always assumed it was a fairly liked. Well, a lot of it is quite liked, but yeah, I never realised that there were people that really disliked it as well. I always thought it was quite a liked one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the consistent thing was that Paul McGann came out shining, I think, in 99% of it, so it was all good. So thank you for your comments on the TV movie, or Doctor Who the movie, or just the movie, whatever you want to call it. It was all good. I think you guys are going to like our review this week.
This one definitely is Marmite.
It definitely is Marmite.
Yes.
How have you been, my good fellow?
I've been very good. Yes, I popped up to London on Monday and had a little scat around the shops. Went into all our favourite little haunts.
Oh, here we go.
Which was good. Yeah, no, so I was quite reserved. I picked up a few bits in the stamp centre. I got a Tardis key, the one that Pertwee had, that funny shape thing.
Oh, cool, yeah.
Yeah, I've always wanted one of those, and so I finally got one, and that was good. And I was having a good old chat with the guy behind the counter there, because I've got to know him, and he was talking about, because they have loads of autographs in there, loads of genuine autographs, and we were talking about who's good and who's not so good, and who always wants more money. So that was quite good. And yeah, so it's a good little day. And I bumped into, do you know Russell Tovey from Being Human and Him and Her?
Oh, yeah.
And also Voyage of the Damned, of course. I bumped into him, and it's the 3rd time I've seen him, but the first time that I've been sort of brave enough to say hello. And because I don't know, because the first time I saw him, he was like darting through Soho with his cap down. For, oh no, won't disturb him. Second time I went to say hello, and whatever he was carrying, like these folders, literally as I went to say hello, he dropped them all over the floor, and I was like, oh dear. So this time it was so surreal. He was sort of just walking behind me, and I saw him, and I was like, Russell, hi. It was just like an instinctive, like somebody I actually knew. But he was really, really nice. I got to say, I don't know what I was worried about.
Oh, cool.
He could not have been nicer. So yeah, I got a good selfie with him in the sunshine and stuff. So yeah, it's really cool. Had a really good day up in London.
Always time for a selfie.
Yeah, he was really good about it though. He was just like, "Come on, yeah, let's do this." You know what I mean? There was none of this Jenna Coleman stuff of no, I haven't got time.
Oh,
yeah, that's how. Yeah, it was really cool. I was on a high for the rest of the day after that. So,
oh, nice one, dude.
yeah, if you're listening, Russell, thanks.
Coolio.
So it's all good. So what have you been up to, mate?
Just being hot mainly.
Yeah.
Not sleeping because it's too warm.
Yeah, I know the feeling actually. Yeah, I don't think I've slept for about a month. For various reasons, but especially the heat. Yeah,
it's a strange feeling, because when I've been on holiday in the past and it's been this kind of temperature, I've not really had a problem sleeping. But for some reason here in the UK, I can't get to sleep that well when it's in this time of year when it's hot. I'm not going to be one of those whingy people like, because those of you listening who don't live in the UK, it's kind of a common thing for us Brits to kind of whinge and moan that we don't get nice weather a lot. And then when we do have nice weather, we just whinge and moan that it's too hot.
I know.
Yeah. So I'm not really one of those people. I love it when it's warm. I love being out, all that sort of stuff. But it's just in the night time. It's just, I don't know, just can't seem to get off to sleep. So but that's not a bad thing, though. Just creep downstairs, bit of PlayStation, bit of Doctor Who. It's all good.
Yeah, I'll tell you what's good if you need to get to sleep. Today's review episode. But we'll get to that later.
God.
We'll get to that later.
We will get to that, yes. Yes.
Anyway, I jest, of course.
Of course. We've been chatting with our new bestie.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, we're getting to be little celeb magnets.
Magnets,
Yeah.
Old Daphs.
Well, she might not be our friend after you said that. Daphne Ashbrook has been chatting to us on Twitter, hasn't she? And she's lovely, fair to say.
She's very nice. Yeah.
If you listen, Daphne, hello there.
Hello. Yeah. Not been up to anything else really. Hope you guys have. What's the situation with the Big Finish stuff? Because we'll come on to it in a second in news, but yeah, they seem to just be flooding the place with announcements at the moment.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it's coming thick and fast. I mean, their output is incredible anyway, in terms of the volume and everything. But man, they are on fire at the minute.
My Twitter feed is just Big Finish at the moment. Pretty much.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah,
which is good.
Yeah.
Which is good. They're going to take over the BBC soon. You realise that they're actually going to. Actually, if you think about it, Big Finish are right up there when it comes to Doctor Who. They're pretty much. In fact, if anything, they're slightly more supportive of Doctor Who, aren't they? I mean, they probably are gunning for Doctor Who more than the BBC, if that makes sense. You know what I mean, they are so into what they're doing and getting it out there in terms of publicity and stuff, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, there's I don't know if you've looked at it or signed it, but there is a petition at the moment for the BBC to be kind of saved, if you like, because I think it's every 10 years or every 5 years, something like that. There's this big committee and it's all very political and red tape, but they do this kind of audit and this thing about the BBC Trust and the future of the BBC and stuff. And I think it's not in danger of being disbanded or privatized or something, but there is some negativity around how the BBC uses its money and how where it spends its money and stuff like that. And there is a big political thing at the moment where it could be chunks of it could be more micromanaged and stuff could be chopped up and sold and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah. So there's a huge now there's a really huge petition. And I'll stick a note in actually. So if you value the programming of the BBC and especially Doctor Who and all that stuff, it's probably worth signing. There's David Tennant signed it and there's been some other famous peeps. I think he's got thousands of thousands now. So it's probably worth sticking your name on there. Because Doctor Who does come under fire for some reason in a political arena. I'm not sure why.
Really?
Yeah, it's always one of the things where I think the outside world and especially Parliament and stuff, they assume that the BBC just throws sort of a bottomless bag of cash at Doctor Who. And I know it's got a bigger budget than it has done over the years, but I think people would be surprised at the amount of budget it still has. It's not astronomical. It still needs to be managed, and it's not crazy.
No, and actually, the budget's been cut, hasn't it, over the years?
It has.
Doctor Who, hasn't it? It's not as if it's gone up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's just that it does get associated because it's obviously one of their most popular shows and that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what goes on behind the scenes of the BBC. Sometimes they do come across as their own worst enemy at times, but I'd hate a world without the BBC as much as they annoy me at times with some of their decisions. But I can't. But it is one of those things that could happen. It's the BBC is one of those things we assume will always be around.
Yeah.
But that's not the case. It's just as likely to be. It's got its own issues. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, never take it for granted. Even though they can be annoying at times, never take BBC for granted, because at the end of the day, that is the home of Doctor Who. And if it was to move to somewhere else or be picked up, it would be a different show. So, yeah.
Wise words, my friend. Yeah. So we'll stick a link if you want to put your name on there. It's worth doing so. Sure.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Right.
Shall we land this baby?
Let's land it and get into this week's news. I wonder if any avid listeners have noticed anything about that sound effect over the last whatever many podcasts. What do you reckon, Gary?
Nobody's mentioned it.
No, for a bonus quiz question, and just to be specific, there is no prize, but for a bonus quiz question this week, can you tell us what's different about that sound effect from, I don't know, how long is it?
It would be, since whichever episode we started using the new intro music.
Aha. Yeah. Things changed, didn't they, from that podcast? I'm just intrigued because I wondered if anyone would notice, because I didn't notice what was different until you told me. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, yeah. So, yeah, bonus quiz question this week. Yeah. Anyway, the news.
The news, yes. So we're going to kick off with Big Finish because they've been, normally we get a big announcement from them once every few months, I would say. And we've had three big ones in the last week, few days, I guess. So the first big one is the River Song thing, because I believe it's the first actor from modern who's going to star in a Big Finish production. Am I right in saying that? Is it the first actor from modern Who? Or at least a leading role?
No, I don't think so. But I think perhaps you're right in the sense of playing the character, yeah. In terms, because, like David Tennant's been involved in Big Finish, but obviously not playing the Doctor. So I think you're right in the sense of, it's the first actor playing the same role from the new series, if you like.
Yeah. Am I right in saying that? Well, because we're going to have, I'm not sure what's going to come first, whether it's the unit stuff or if it's the River Song stuff. I think it might be unit.
I've got a feeling it's unit, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Osgood, yeah.
Yeah, so technically, Gemma Redgrave will be the first in terms of production, but yeah.
And people have been questioning, is it going to be River Song? But of course, I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, I mean, the cover has got her on it, hasn't it? Because when I put the pictures up on Facebook, people were like, yeah, but who's she going to be playing? And I was thinking, well, River Song, surely. And she's going to be paired up with the 8th Doctor, which is a great pairing, I think, actually.
Yeah, that's got me super excited.
Yeah, me too. But it does bring into the question of, because then you start thinking, well, why doesn't the Doctor already know her if he's met her as the 8th Doctor? But there is something in the description about they must never meet or something. I haven't got it in front of me. Yeah. So yeah, it sounds I'm really excited by this, and it's going to be the second in this Doomolition collection, isn't it?
Doom Coalition 2.
Coalition, yeah.
And then she's going to come back next year with her own run as well, The Diary of River Song.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So it's absolutely River Song as the character. There's no timey-wimey Stephen Moffat thing going on here. It is just River Song. But what's very cool is they're bringing back some monsters as well from the newer stuff. So we've got the Weeping Angels, the Jadoon, and the Sycorax. Yay.
Brilliant.
Yes. And I wonder if they'll mention a certain... Oh, no, because he's dead. I was going to say, I wonder if they'll mention a certain Sycorax commander with one hand. But no, he died, didn't he? It was David Tennant lost his hand, and
he had that very green, wasn't he?
Yeah, didn't he launch the orange onto the button?
That's right.
That was so cool, yeah.
Great scene. No second chances.
Yes. Tennant being very stern from the off.
Yeah.
No second chances.
I love the Sycorax though, don't you? I'm really pleased that they're going to come back, even if it's on audio. I think it's great.
Yeah, I would love to see the recording of that. The person in the studio doing the Sycorax voice for an hour, whatever. That would be interesting.
I'm just thinking about the bit where the Doctor mimics them as well.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great... No.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah. Somebody else is coming back for Big Finish as well. Churchill.
Yes, that was a surprise, actually, because that's not a character that would immediately come to mind as someone they would bring back. But it sounds like quite an interesting... It's more of a storytelling one, that, isn't it? It's more like the sort of companion chronicles by the sound of it.
Yes, it looks like it, yeah.
Yeah.
Set around, yes, he's coming back for the Churchill years, which sounds very interesting. Yeah,
sounds good. I mean, out of the three big announcers there, I mean, I'm most excited. I'm most excited about the Eighth and River, but also very excited by the classic Doctors meeting new monsters. I think that's really cool. Yeah. Who's that? So the Sixth Doctor's the Jadoon, isn't he? Fifth Doctor's Weeping Angels as well. That should be quite a good pairing. And then does that mean the Seventh Doctor meets the Sycorax? Is that right? That's
right. Yep.
Yeah. That's going to be really good. Yeah. Are these coming out this year or next year? Probably next, are they?
I believe.
Let's have a look.
Next year.
Yeah.
So the cover's cool as well. You've got each Doctor paired up with a monster. It looks very cool, and I think Paul McGann gets the potatoes.
That's right. Yeah, actually, the artwork is really good. I mean, Big Finish artwork lately. I don't know if they've got somebody different to do it, but it's really, really good, isn't it? I'm loving the artwork to their stuff at the minute. It's really awesome. Nicely done. Yeah. So I think
there's some amazing stuff coming up. The Doom Coalition 2 with River and the Eighth Doctor is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
And then I think the four Doctors in one. So 6, 6, 7, 8, 6. Hold on, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and the new monsters in one recording is going to be amazing. I can't wait for that.
Yeah, that is good. Actually, I only just realised that that's one set. I naively thought it was going to be like single releases for the Doctor, but I've just realised that's a box set, isn't it? That is going to be an awesome set. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I've changed my mind. That's the one I'm most looking forward to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And they're doing some bundles, aren't they? If you want to save money, they're doing some bundles so you can order them all together and save a bit of dosh.
Yeah, which is good.
Yeah, it is good. The only thing is, and someone might need to correct me on this, I believe Big Finish, if you order something from Big Finish, if you pre-order something, I believe they take the money straight away. So they will have your money for a year because it's sort of looked at as funding. So, you're putting that money into the company. So I often don't order something till quite close to the release date just because, it's a year away sort of thing.
Yeah.
But someone might want to correct me on that, but I think that's what they do.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you're an avid listener or a regular listener, I suppose it's not too bad. I'm not sure.
No, I mean, it's not a bad thing at all. It's just, personally for me, I like, obviously sort of, I normally buy stuff at the end of the month when I get paid. So that's kind of how I look at it, Big Finish. I think, right, what's coming out next month, okay. And then I pre-order it. But I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they take the money straight away, even if it's not something that's out for a year. But
okay.
Yeah, someone might want to check on that.
Cool.
Right. So in other news, sad news, Gary. Sad. Well, actually, frustrating news.
Yes.
This is something that has been mentioned before, but it's kind of been officially condemned now. The Underwater Menace DVD has been properly cancelled because it was kind of floating around. It was on the schedule, off the schedule. All these sort of it's being looked into, that sort of stuff. But no, it's been cancelled. It's not happening. And basically, it sounds like it's down to a couple of things, but it sounds like it's down to funding because there was a really good little article in this month's Doctor Who magazine. I don't know if you've read it, but really interesting actually about how the extras are made for DVDs and particularly about the funding. And they were saying, some of the money that was offered to do these things was just laughable. Like there was just like, there's no way that they would sort of animate episodes for the money that the BBC were prepared to pay, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it seems that that's been part of the issue for the delayed release of this and eventual cancellation of it is that, there's just, the money that has been offered to produce the extras, excuse me, it's just been rubbish.
Yeah.
So, it's all fell through. And the sad thing is, excuse me, the heat's getting to me. Hang on, I'll have another swig. The sad thing is, extras have been produced, so a commentary has been recorded already. What else has been done? There's been a few extras made for it, which will most likely not see the light of day. So it's really, really sad, I think, that this is, just in the lurch, left on the shelf.
Yeah, and let's not get any of this twisted. The reason why this has been cancelled is because the BBC Worldwide are not willing to spend the money. That's the long and short of it. Because
that's pretty much it.
Yeah, because the company that they were in contract with, who were going to provide the animated sequences, like you say, it was just it was almost like an insult. They can't expect to do the work on it for literally peanuts. And BBC Worldwide also approached another company to do the animation, and they also just fell about laughing.
Yeah.
And said there's no way that you can get this kind of work done for the money you're offering. So the BBC, I think BBC Worldwide have we're not really too fussed. We've kind of released the entire catalogue that we had. This is like the only remaining story that's in the archive that's ready to be released. But and also I don't think there's huge demand for it. I think people who like the story, who are looking forward to seeing Troughton again in something fresh and new, I think are hungry for it, and I think completists especially are hungry for it. But outside of that, I don't think there's been any huge kind of uproar from enough fans to say, look, we want this, you need to spend the money. So I think they're just, whatever, we're not too fussed. So
yeah, they're not. I suppose because it's incomplete, because there's only 2 episodes out of the 4, isn't there, remaining? Yeah. So they're saying, well, we're not going to just, because some fans are saying, we'll just release the 2, just, like I said, completists just don't really care, the 2 are missing. Let's just have it, in some sort of form, even if it's like a vanilla release with just the minimal extras. But yeah, BBC aren't interested in doing that. But on a sort of slightly more positive note, they did say something after this. I haven't got the quote in front of me, but they did say that they are looking into future classic releases. So there is hope that this will end up. See, I'm wondering if they're going to do like box sets or something of like the first Doctor, second Doctor, or because they're obviously they're BBC Worldwide are looking to make as much money as possible.
Yeah.
So they know that even if people have got the individual releases, there's probably a market out there to do complete collections. And now that they've released everything apart from this, where else can they go with the classic collection? So yeah, there is still hope out there that it'll arrive in some sort of form, or they might do something like put them on iTunes, which would be a bit annoying. But yeah, I think they'll end up being released in some sort of format, but it doesn't sound like it's going to be in a individual release, which is a shame, because they went to the trouble of getting the commentary recorded and doing a few little extras. So it's just such a shame that all this is just sat on a shelf and gathering dust, if you like. So
yeah, I think it will. I think it will surface at some point. I'm guessing it will be, as a special feature, or as a bonus disc in something, or maybe I know it sucks. It would be just online, but it could go out online, iTunes or something.
Yeah, it's got to see the light of day somewhere, isn't it? Yeah, I think.
Yes.
So all is not lost.
Not quite.
It just, as usual, it comes down to money.
As usual. Yeah. Right. Next bit of news. So lucky down under. Lucky for you guys down under that you would have seen lots of messages from us and other. I was going to say Whovians then.
You can say Whovians.
Can I say that?
Some people like it.
Some people use it and like it.
Yeah.
You would have seen plenty of messages and tweets and Facebook stuff between us and other Whovians about the Doctor Who festival that we're going to in November.
Yes.
And the cool thing is that even though the BBC have charged lots of money to go because they don't have a lot of money, they're flying everybody out to Australia to do the same festival.
Yeah, in Sydney, isn't it?
In Sydney, one of the most expensive cities in the world. So that's going to cost a pretty penny to do. So maybe that's why our tickets were so expensive.
Yeah, quite possibly. Yeah, because they're not going to put that money into the Underwater Menace, are they? Of
course not.
No, don't be silly.
Yeah.
So they're all Capaldi's there, and Moffat's there. I expect Jenna will be there. She's not been mentioned yet.
Not been listed, no.
And then, to coin one of your brilliant phrases, Gary, do you know what burns my bacon?
What burns
regarding
the bacon?
This?
What grinds the gears?
Well, it's this little line here, and this is on the official announcement from the BBC. It says Q&As with limited photo and autograph opportunities will be available.
Oh, no.
Oh, so they're getting autograph opportunities, are they? When we're not getting any.
Oh, no.
I was furious around that because I got a real bone of contention that there's no autograph sessions at the UK one, especially as they had said in a very roundabout way that there would be before the tickets were released.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, this just reminds me actually, I've been sat waiting for these blimmin' photo opportunities to come online because they said they were supposed to go on sale at the end of June.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm going to have very limited internet access as of tomorrow for 6 weeks. So I was thinking that's all right. At least I'll get my photo sorted. I'll be able to relax, hopefully. Although if it's anything like the Matt Smith one, I'm going to miss out again. But I was thinking at least I'll have a chance. But they haven't gone on sale, have they? I don't know what's happening with it. So it looks like I'm going to miss out again, which I'm furious about. But anyway.
Maybe they need a Kickstarter campaign to get some cash.
Yeah. Where's all this money going?
So, yes. So we'll let you just vent in a corner just for a second. But
yeah, I'll just stay over here steaming.
Yeah, so the 21st and 22nd of November, the festival heads to Australia, to Moore Park in Sydney, where you'll be able to get autographs and selfies and all the rest of it with the cast. And then after that, Peter Capaldi heads off to Auckland, New Zealand for an intimate evening with fans on the 24th of November. So more autographs for you guys in New Zealand as well. Sorry, Adam, because that sounds like it's going to be a bit of a smaller affair. However, negativity aside, this is pretty cool because I think cool, our Australian listeners, you guys really like Doctor Who because I think didn't the Symphonic Spectacular kick off down under?
Yes, I think it did. Yeah,
in Sydney. So you guys, you're really up for Who, which is awesome. So it's good that you get to experience the whole festival thing, I guess. We're not too sure exactly how it's gonna go down here because I think when's ours? Is it the 12th? The 14th and 15th.
Yes, the weekend before, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's going to be really cool. So hoping that you guys get a very similar experience and you get to meet whoever and you do all the photo sets and all that cosplay. It's going to be cool.
It will be good. Yeah.
Just don't put any photos online of any autographs or photos.
Actually, does it say anything about the ticket price? Does it work out the same sort of price as the UK?
I did see an article the other day about prices, and they're not cheap. So general admission, so a day ticket, is $195.
Right. So yeah, $195.
$195.
Blimey, that's more expensive then, because that's about £110. Blimey, what?
Yes.
Come on, that's ridiculous.
And if you want the Tardis ticket, then that's $365.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're not releasing the Underwater Menace. Right. So.
They can't get to that shelf with all those extras on because they can't see it for all the money.
Yes. So roughly, I think in British pounds, it's about 180 quid for the Tardis ticket. Yes. And the concession ticket is $99, which I think is what, kids or pensioners or something. So it's not cheap.
No, it's not. It's a lot of cash.
The things that we do as Who fans, eh?
Yeah. It better be good. I think it will be.
Yeah. I think it will be awesome.
It's going to be cool.
Yeah, I don't think that story's going to ever go away until it's over about the price of the tickets and so on. But you know what? If you feel it's too expensive and all that sort of stuff, you don't have to go.
Do you know what? I like the fact we're going on the Saturday as well, because there will have already been one on the Friday the night before. So that'll be really cool, because we'll get a feel of, people will be tweeting, and so we'll get an idea of what it's like, won't we?
Yeah.
The night before. So I'm quite looking forward to that. Just seeing, what the feedback is from people who have been on the Friday. Yeah.
So we'll be able to, continue our excitement or ask for a refund. One of the two.
That's right. Yeah, right. I did notice actually in very small print, no refunds are given, Gary.
Yeah.
So they've got that covered.
Of course.
Right. And final bit of news this week. This has just been announced actually, and good news here. Rachel Talalay. How are you saying it?
Talalay.
Let's say Talali. I like
Talali,
it.
go for it.
She's coming back to direct the Series 9 final. So she's going to be directing episode 11 and 12 of
cool.
Series 9. And she also directed the Series 8 final, Dark Water and Death in Heaven, which, not the best episodes, but I have to say, I think the direction was pretty good on them. So, yeah, I think she does a good job, and I think she'll do a good job on these.
Yeah, cool. Direction-wise, it was very cool.
It was, yeah. It was well directed.
Yeah, it's very, very cool. And, yeah, so episode 11, which they're filming at the moment.
Yeah, I believe so.
Cool. Yep.
Yeah, 11 and 12 is she's going to be directing, so that'll be the two-part final, yeah.
Coolio.
Excellent. So good news. Welcome back, Rach. Oh.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
I think we're done. Yes, we are. We are done
Yes,
with news.
yeah. Some good bits of news there. Well, some good and bad. Bit of a mixed bag. Yeah.
Adam,
Yeah.
what are we reviewing this week?
Oh, this week, throw yourself into the Timelash.
Reception committee. Well, they look friendly enough.
So they should be. I've been here before.
And where's here?
Carful. I was here a regeneration or three back.
Well, if you've been here before, no problem.
Except that time corridor. Carful should be centuries from such technology.
A doctor!
Now don't go wandering off until I'm certain this place is clear.
Yes, sir.
I will do the talking. Welcome, Time Lord.
Hello, I'm the doctor.
And I am Tekka, Malin Tekka. We are honored that you have decided to visit us again after all this time.
Indeed you are. This is Perry, my assistant.
Hi.
Only the two of you.
Yes, travelling light this time. Besides, so difficult to recruit good staff these days, don't you agree? Now, Malin, about this time corridor in space.
All in good time, Doctor. All in good time. Please enjoy our hospitality first. Have you been traveling long?
Well, it's hard to say, really. Time just flies when you're in the Tardis.
Bad? No, it's disastrous. That's my favourite line from the programme.
All right.
Well, Timelash, mate.
Timelash.
Where do we start with this?
My old friend, Timelash.
Well, what's it about?
What's it about?
I had to look on Wikipedia, actually,
Yeah.
to get to remind myself what it was about.
Yeah. Well, if you can stay awake long enough, oh my God. Come on, we can't be too negative. Come on.
No.
Come
no,
on.
No.
So, I don't know where to start with this because I'm boring myself talking about it before we even kick off.
No, come on, mate.
After I've
bring
just said
yourself
that.
up.
Right, okay.
Okay. So the Doctor, I'll start off and you pick it up, okay? So the Doctor lands on a planet that is under this sort of strict regime from this mysterious thing on a screen. And it turns out the Doctor's been there before in an unseen adventure. And we don't know who we know he was with Joe Grant, but there was the third person, a mysterious traveller, but we never find out who.
Yeah.
So the Doctor lands there after the TARDIS is sort of caught in this weird, it's not a time tunnel, but it's something that looks like a multicoloured time tunnel. And he ends up coming through this thing called the Timelash.
The Contron corridor.
That's the one, mate. Thanks. Yeah, I couldn't think. He arrives to find, these poor citizens that are under this strict regime, and what happens then?
It's
Perry gets abducted and tied to a pole.
Yeah.
In front of a giant sort of snake-like lizard.
Thing.
I don't know.
Yep. The
Morlocks.
Yep.
The Morlocks.
So they want to use the Doctor to do stuff because some of the power or some of the power that the Borad, the bad guy, can invoke is from these amulets.
Yeah.
And one of the women that's wearing the amulet at the time, because I think her husband, boyfriend, brother, friend, one of them gets thrown into the Timelash, and she decides that no. So she gets thrown into the Timelash, or she runs into it, so the amulet's gone. So they want to use the Doctor to travel through and retrieve it.
That's right.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh God. And while this is going on, Peri has been kidnapped and she's been thrown to the Morlocks, but there's rebels who are running around, as they do, who save her and reluctantly help her. And so while the Doctor's out and about on his travels, though, he does come across, I guess he kind of does take on a companion role in the story.
Yes.
Who turns out to be quite an important character in British history, or British literacy, should I say. Herbert,
yeah.
Herbert, yep. And with Herbert's help, they kind of overthrow this regime, this Borad guy, much to the disappointment of his right-hand man at the time, Tekka. Or Malin Tekka, he ends up to be, which is kind of a political figure, I guess. And then once you kind of get that far, it all gets wrapped up in a nice little bundle, really. It's quite predictable.
Yeah, well, the sort of thing that gets revealed to be the Borat, because it looks like a genteel old man on a screen, doesn't it? But actually turns out to be a hideously disfigured scientist who looks like half man, half horse.
Yeah.
He kind of gets. He's very evil, and he kind of gets shoved into the Timelash.
Timelash.
I'm going to call it the Timelash.
Hold on, did you call him Borat as well?
Did I? What is he called?
Borad. Not Borat.
Good success.
Yeah, Borat.
Borat gets thrown into the Timelash.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much covered it, man. I think that's the story to a T.
That's the story, pretty much. We kind of fudged that a bit, but that's essentially it.
So it was written by Glenn McCoy, no relation to Sylvester, I don't believe, who was an ambulance driver, apparently.
Wow.
I did watch the extras to see how this came about, but I'll be honest with you, my brain had kind of switched off, so I'm still not quite sure. But I think he was writing for shows at the time, and Eric Saywood sort of thought, he'd be good, let's get him on board. And it won't surprise you to know it was a very troubled process getting this script together. I think
Was it really?
It originally had Daleks in it, and Glenn was told, no, can't have Daleks. I'm doing a Dalek story, Eric Saywood said. So he removed all the Daleks but kept the story.
Right.
And it apparently just kept going back and forth, getting rewrites. And man, does it show, because there's a bit in episode 2, isn't there, where the Doctor and Peri are having an argument, which goes on forever.
Yep.
And Herbert's kind of hiding. And I kept thinking, what the hell's going on here? But it turns out, having watched the extras, that they realised that the episode was 6 minutes short. So they were going to have to film something quickly. So Eric Saywood quickly wrote that scene. And they only had one set left up, because I think they were already filming the next story. So they were like, well, it's got to be a TARDIS scene. Which is why we've got that really awkward 6-minute scene of absolutely nothing happening at the middle. But it does kind of fit in with the rest of the show, where absolutely nothing is happening. I know we're being really harsh on this, but my goodness, it's got such a bad reputation, this story. But
yes. It kind
of lives up to it. I mean, it is pretty dreadful. There are a couple of good bits. I mean, I don't want this to be completely negative all the way through, but yeah, it's pretty grim, isn't it? It's pretty dire.
It is, yeah, and it's. I think we can apply a fairly common adage to this that is prevalent to quite a few classic Who stories, and that it has the potential to be very good. It's not a terrible story, but it just suffers from a terrible script, some terrible acting, and the pacing is just mind-numbingly boring.
Yeah, the pacing and the direction is as flat as a pancake, isn't it?
It is.
It's like even the action sequences are just so flat, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. And the climactic parts as well, where we get the reveal of Borat. We get to see because
it's Borat.
I think that everybody would know what he looks like anyway at this stage in the game because he's on the front of the DVD cover.
Yeah.
And he's plastered all over the place in terms of, any other reviews or anything that have been written about the story. But I would probably say that even back then, back in, when was it, 85? Yeah, 1985. Yeah. Even if when you were watching it for the first time fresh, you still would have been like, okay. There's no real menace about it. It just looks like a James Bondy type of villain guy. He almost looks like he'd be stroking a cat almost.
Or a Morlocks.
Whatever.
Morlocks, yeah. He has got a very nice swivelly chair, though, which would be very good in your new office.
Yeah, the chair.
It's a very cool chair.
It's got like a laser, like death ray stuff. Yeah, it's very cool.
Oh, yeah, it's good. Yeah, go get yourself a death ray chair. I'll tell you what, here's a positive, though. Yeah, you're right. He's not exactly scary, is he? But I do think, I'm trying to find a positive here. I do think the makeup on him is good.
Huh?
I think the face mask is quite good for the time.
What?
No, you're not liking that? The horse face?
No.
I thought it was pretty good.
Okay.
That's one of the very few. Come on, man, work with me here.
So
it's one of the very few positive notes I've got here.
Aye. So hold on. You started that with "Let me give you a positive," and you've picked the makeup on Borat.
Yeah. I think it looks all right.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm flicking through. I'll tell you, I haven't got a lot else that's good.
This is unprecedented for the Big Blue Box podcast to kind of be dumbstruck midway through a review because we haven't got anything to say about it.
Oh, I've got plenty to say, just none of it's that positive.
Okay, let's.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't want our listeners switching off because it's just a long tirade of abuse about the story. But yeah, I have to be honest. I've got plenty to say. But it's just that it's not a lot of it is positive on this one.
Let's look for some positives. Let's look for some. Right.
Okay.
Colin Baker. Little moments are quite good.
Yeah.
There are little moments where it's kind of cool, like when he's telling Perry to shut up, and because she's a bit whiny.
It doesn't. Yeah. See, it doesn't really. No, I can't even go with that because it starts off with them bickering for about 10 minutes in the TARDIS, and there's just so much. I don't like this Sixth Doctor Perry bickering relationship, and they sort of softened it a bit towards the end slightly.
Yeah.
But it's so, I mean, that's how it starts, isn't it? We get like such a long intro with them bickering in the TARDIS. I mean,
they weren't too bad in Revelation, the next one.
Yeah, I was going to say in that one we're back to sort of a slightly better Doctor and Perry pairing up.
Yeah.
But in this, it's just like it's awful. I mean, Colin. There's a couple of nice scenes. I think he works okay with Herbert. There's a bit of humour. I do love it when he's getting angry with Herbert.
That's what I was going to say. The scenes with Herbert are quite cool.
Yeah, what's the bit there? Well, there is a bit actually. Which often gets screenshotted of Colin gritting his teeth at the console, and I can't remember what he's saying to her. Yeah, shut. Colin's good at doing those sort of bits, but it works better for me when he's sort of bickering with Herbert than it does with Perry.
Yes, Herbert I thought was okay-ish.
He sort of reminds me a bit of Adric.
Adric, oh, you read my mind. I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to bash the guy that far. So
he's all right. He's kind of likable.
Yeah,
I suppose.
he's all right.
But yeah, he's a bit of an Adric character, sort of bumbling in and always, getting in the way and stuff.
And he turns out to be a famous person in the end.
He died.
H.G. Wells.
He does, yeah.
Who would have thought?
Who'd have thought? It's a nice idea. It's a nice idea.
A buffoon
the fact that
would
the
write.
Buffoon. So he travels with a doctor, which is that's where he gets the time travel. Yeah, it's a nice idea. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about Paul Darrow.
Oh, bloody hell!
Now, I don't know if you've seen any Blake Seven yet, have you?
Not yet. Oh no. Right.
Because judging by this performance, you're probably not going to. And anyone who knows me knows that Blake Seven is my all-time favourite show, and Paul Darrow, believe it or not, is fantastic in that series. So you can imagine when I heard he was going to be in Doctor Who, how excited I was. And
oh dear,
he's just, well, I'm sorry, Paul, but it's just, if ever the term chewing the scenery applied more to an actor, this is it. But the thing is, when John Nathan Turner, the producer, cast him, he wanted him to play it like Avon, his character in Blake 7, which you can imagine. That's what he does best. Paul Darrow, as an actor, understandably, I want to do this a bit different. I don't want to play the same part.
Understandably.
So he decides he's going to play it like Richard III. And that's actually, on the extras, that's actually what he thought. He thought, no, I want to play it very, theatrical. I'm going to play it as Richard III. So he gives this performance, which is not only way over the top, it's just uncomfortable.
It's camper than a row of pink tents.
Yeah, yeah.
Essentially.
It's just such a shame because he could be so good, But yeah, it's just way over the top. And the wig, I don't know why they've got him in that wig. He wanted to hump. Yeah, he wanted to hump as well. But apparently on, because John Nathan Turner, when they started doing the rehearsals, apparently was like, oh, no, don't play it like that. And they had a bit of a disagreement on set, and he was like, "Well, I'm doing it as Richard III, and I quite like a hump." And apparently, they had a proper argument about this hump, and he never got it, but he managed to keep the performance in. But I wish he hadn't, because do you know what? I hope you do watch Blake 7 one day, and to redeem Paul Darrow, because he's so good in that. It's just such a shame that he decided to play it like he did in this, and like you said, it's, mind you, such a throwaway episode anyway, it doesn't really matter, but he could have perhaps brought it up slightly if he'd have, I don't know, done it differently, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, Malin's, yeah. The thing is, he's not, it's almost like the way his performance doesn't really fit with the story and the rest of the cast.
No.
Do you know what I mean? It's like he's kind of, like you say, he's kind of thought, well, I don't want to play it. I don't just want to be typecast into doing that type of role and performing up. I want to change it up a bit. I just think he went a bit Shakespearean.
Yeah, well, yeah, he did. Yeah, I don't know why he chose to play it as Richard III, but that's what he did. And it just doesn't really work. And I think even Colin Baker sort of is a bit taken aback by it, because on the extras he's like, because Colin appears in a Blake 7 episode, and Colin is really, really over the top in that, but it in a good way. I mean, he's really ridiculous in the Blake 7 episode that Colin Baker's in, but it works. He's like very loud. He's playing Baber the Butcher, and he does camp up the role a bit, and he's very, very over the top, but it works. And I don't know whether Paul Darrow was trying to do that, trying to do the same, to try and sort of be over the top, but yeah, it doesn't work in this.
Nope.
Unfortunately.
Yep. What did you think to our blue-faced androids?
Well, they all look, it's one actor, isn't it? Playing all the androids. Yeah. I mean, I guess they're all duplicated. They're blue, are they? Because this is the thing, I'm colourblind, so I couldn't tell. Are they blue face and green hair? Mm-hmm. Right, cool.
I think so. Blue or yellow hair. Yellow
is it? Well, I can't tell, you see. Colours get mixed up in my head. So I did write blue with green hair android, but they talk like very strangely, like early Cybermen.
I thought that they sounded a bit like K9.
Oh yes, that's it. I put early Cybermen, but yeah, I think maybe it's K9. Yeah.
It's got this high-pitched weirdness to it. It doesn't sound like an android. It sounds like a kid playing something.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Dunno.
There's not a lot I could say about them really. They just, yeah,
because I thought they were going to be quite cool, but they were very slow. Didn't really do much. Sounded ridiculous.
they do sound ridiculous. Yeah, I'm just surprised. Some of these things could have been pulled up when they were filming it. Do you know what I mean? Like, what was the director sort of? I think, was it Pennant Roberts or someone? Pennant Roberts. Yeah, I mean, he's done quite a lot of Doctor Who, and he's, what was he when he was sort of watching them in rehearsal stuff? I would have thought some of these things could have been ironed out a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, with Paul Darrow, he was quite a big profile name at the time. Perhaps they just had to let him get on with it after a certain, because there was a certain amount of discussion, and maybe they just said, let him get on with it. But with something like the Android, they could have easily just thought, nah, that ain't working, or treated the voice or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
This whole thing about the Doctor being there before as well. Obviously, like we get this, we get to see a picture of Joe Grant in the locket, and there's the Doctor's image is revealed behind a wall painting, isn't it, and all that. I kind of like that idea. Again, that's one of the other sort of very few positives I put. I like the idea that we get to see the third Doctor, and that he's been there before. Yeah. In this sort of unseen adventure.
Yeah, I like it that it's unseen as well. Like,
yeah, I do.
Kind of expands the universe out a little bit. That it's almost a feeling like we haven't seen everything that the Doctor's done.
Yes, yeah.
There are lots of adventures and stories and stuff that that we don't know about, which is exciting, which is very cool, which I think is why, to a degree, why Big Finish is so successful. But I do like that thing that if you've watched all of the Pertwee stuff, here's something else that's potentially amazing that we haven't seen.
Yeah, I like that as well. Yeah, that is good. Obviously, Doctor Who does often come in for criticism about his wobbly sets and that sort of thing. In this one, it's not so much wobbly sets, it's just pretty dire sets. I mean, the Timelash itself, right? Now, we're talking 1985, things... Well, what I'm saying is there's no excuse for it to look like a box of tinsels with flashing lights. You know what I mean? There's just no excuse. It just... And also when they go inside as well, I appreciate the budget on this one was very, very low. They say that in the extras because of the production order or whatever it was, they had no budget. I get that. But even if they tried to mask it a little bit with some dodgy 80s effects, but you can clearly see the tinsel, especially when he goes inside it and he's climbing down the wall, and it's just kind of like there's those sort of pointy out thingy on the wall. It's just got bits of tinsel wrapped around it. I mean, it looks blimmin' awful.
Yeah, it's I think that must be purely a budget thing.
Yeah, but couldn't they have done something? Even if they had put a giant bright light behind that, so it was just sort of like, they could have disguised the tinsel. You can just see it, so it's hanging tinsel. I just can't believe they couldn't have done something better than that.
Oh, we're destroying there was probably a set designer or a set dresser who was really proud of that.
I doubt it.
They came up and, hey, is that ready yet? Right. What do you think of this?
If I'd have been Colin Baker and I'd have walked on set and seen that, I would have I would have pulled that face that he pulls at the console.
Oh right, yeah.
I would have been like, no way, unless you're going to do something with it. Like I said, they could have just really, really overlit it so that you just sort of got a bit of a glare. I don't know. It looks rubbish. But one thing I did find very strange is when they pushed the Borad through the Timelash, Doctor makes some reference about the Loch Ness Monster, as if like he's the Loch Ness Monster. Now what the heck?
Yeah.
What the heck's that about? Because in Terror of the Zygons, they've got their own Loch Ness Monster. They don't need the Borad, unless there's two. I suppose there could be, but yeah, I didn't get that at all.
Yeah, that is kind of strange.
Yeah. Now let's talk about what are they called? That thing on the screen with another one with a silly voice. Is it the Mandrills? Mandrills.
Oh right, yeah.
Doctor, I don't believe it's you. Yeah. But now you've put the TARDIS in front of the rocket. I do believe it's you. Oh God, what what the hell?
Yeah.
That puppet.
Yeah. Do you know what? I had the same. I had to pick myself up off the floor laughing.
I knew you would.
The same way when I heard the android speaking. The voices are.
Childlike.
I'm surprised at the time because it's obviously a hand puppet. This snake thing, isn't it?
Mm. It looks like something out of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
It does, yeah. And when somebody was doing the voice, you would have thought that at the time they would have gone, whoa, back up.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about this for a second because you sound ridiculous.
Yeah.
Let's change it up a bit. Let's do something else, but not that. I'm surprised that they were like, yeah, this is good. This is going to go down well.
Well, they go, that's the one. When they're going through the voices, that's the one.
Yeah.
Come on.
So the bandrills, they're kind of these very basic hand puppets that don't really look like anything other than a hand puppet with these stupid voices. I mean, it's another one of those things where if they would have changed that a little bit, I get the feeling that if they would have just gone through and changed half a dozen things, this episode wouldn't be as bad. Or this story, should I say. Yeah. It wouldn't be as bad. It's things like that just make you feel like, come on, guys.
Yeah. And also, I mean, Stephen Moffat gets some stick for sort of cop-out endings and, and tying things up. But when Perry asked the Doctor, how did you survive the TARDIS, being destroyed by that rocket? He just goes, it's a neat trick. I'll tell you one day. Wow, brilliant bit of writing. Yeah, that's amazing. The way to do it. I'll tell you later. Off screen. I'll tell you off screen. It's a brilliant trick. I just couldn't. When he said that, I was like, you're joking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was one of those. It's right up there when episode writers are doing stories about dreams.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh, that happened in a dream. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's right. Yeah, just to get out. Yeah, and it's the slowest missile in the galaxy, isn't that? I've never. There's a missile coming. It's going to take half an hour to get here, but it's coming. And when it does, it's going to explode in a big pink explosion.
Yeah, and also the way that Borad is defeated as well is very ridiculous because it all happens in slow motion almost, where his death beam or his death ray kind of flicks that on, and the Doctor's just like, right, let me just get this thing.
Oh, that little thingy you're making, yeah.
I'm just going to aim that there. Right, that's the last of you, buddy.
What I didn't get was when he does that earlier, when he's testing it, and he walks around the table and he sort of does this weird hand thing as if he's pushing two people.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What? Because I was thinking, all right, in a minute they're going to fall over because it's a delay and he's pushed them or something.
Yeah.
What? Did I miss something there?
No.
Yeah, I'm being serious now. I'm not even like taking the mickey away. I honestly thought, what was he doing? Like I was waiting for them to fall over or something. What was he doing?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I genuinely, I'm not saying that to take the mickey. I genuinely thought I'd missed something, but I really couldn't be bothered to go back and find out. But yeah, I just wondered if you knew.
Yeah, it's just, again, it's just things like that where they could have tweaked during the writing or whatever that could have.
I've just realised what I keep calling the bandrills mandrills as well. I've just realised because I've got Wiki in front of me. I honestly had to get Wikipedia up to read the synopsis for this one because I didn't really get what was going on. So I've got it in front of me and I've just realised, it's the bandrills.
The bandrills, yeah.
Those little puppet things, because people will be screaming at the thing. It's bandrills, not mandrills. Yeah, so sorry, bandrills with the funny voices and very slow missiles.
Yeah, they're not exactly. Tearing the place up with cool stuff.
I don't think we're going to see him in the modern series. Do you? We might. Don't know if Stephen Moffat's got around to watching this one. Yeah.
Maybe.
So here's just before we go on to our brilliant scores. Here's another thing, right? The Borad. Obviously, he's disfigured through his experiments and he's half Molochs. But he's decided Perry's the one for him. He's seen her and he's like, she's the one. But she's only going to fancy me if I disfigure her like so she looks the same as me.
Yeah.
Now, how does that work? Because so he thinks that once she's disfigured and she looks the same as him, she's going to fall in love with him. What?
That's the long and short of it. Yeah.
That would be like me going out and finding someone I fancied and force feeding him 20 pork pies and saying, grow a beard, get that belly going, and maybe we can talk.
Yeah, it's kind
it's
of
just
a warped,
not like,
yeah.
I don't know. I just didn't get that at all. Perry gets absolutely nothing to do in this at all, apart from scream and be tied up.
And whinge.
Yeah, actually felt, and whinge. She's so annoying in it, but it's not really her fault. It's just, she just gets nothing to do. Yeah. So that was Timelash.
That was Timelash. Let's end the torture. Let's
end the torture.
Yeah.
It's got to be one of the worst we've reviewed, isn't it? I mean, it's got to be. So far, yeah, I'd probably say so. I'm just looking at my notes. Yeah,
the lowest that we've scored together, I think, is New Earth.
What did we give New Earth?
I gave it a 4. You gave it a 5.
Did I? I gave it a 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. It's strange, isn't it? Sometimes I listen back to scores and think, really?
Planet of the Dead. You gave that a 4. I gave that a 5.5. The only other score I've dipped below a 5, which is going to please all you McCoy fans, is Survival.
Did you give that a 3?
Gave it a 3.
Do you still think it's a 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this could bring us down to an all-time low score-wise. It's me to go first, isn't it?
Yeah, it's you to go first.
Right. Let's go 2.
You're going with a 2.
Yep.
Okay. Right. I just want to read exactly what I've got on the page here. Terrible script, flat direction, dreadful sets of monsters, supporting cast, rubbish, generally didn't hold my attention, boring. 2.5 out of 10.
2.5.
Yeah. I don't know what I think I just don't know. I can't even
That's officially our worst story so far.
It is.
Review wise.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Which I think you guys were probably expecting. It's very, very difficult to, do you know? Because one of the things, right, that we always try to do, and it actually came up a couple of times in some of the reviews that we've got on iTunes, that people have said it's great that even in the worst Doctor Who stories and stuff, we still see the good stuff.
Yeah.
And I think there's the odd story where you just can't kid yourself. If you know what I mean, you can't just dress it up in glitter and tinsel and stuff, and it's cool. Sometimes you have to accept the fact that it's gonna be FUBAR.
Yeah, and I did go into this with a pretty open mind because I haven't watched it in ages. I honestly don't remember liking it, but I don't remember it being this bad. Do you know what I mean? I didn't go into this thinking, oh, here we go. Mm-hmm. I just thought, I haven't watched this for a while. Let's see what it's about. And like you said, there is normally something in it that will still be, you can still find something good in it. And I was hoping that'd be Paul Darrow. Yeah. But yeah, even he's dreadful in it. And I think the fact they're 45-minute episodes as well really made it a slog. Because as soon as I saw that, I mean, I forget that Colin Baker's era, a lot of them are 45-minute episodes. But yeah, as soon as I put the DVD in and saw it was just 2 45-minute, I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Not good.
Not good. So what did you guys think?
Right, let me fire up the old Facebook.
While you're doing that, we had a couple on Twitter. Mark Francis said, I heard that it's not the greatest episode despite Colin's professional attempts to make it so.
Make it so. That's Captain Picard.
Yeah. You have heard correct. It's not the greatest episode. And I don't think on this occasion Colin's going to pull it out of the pile of slag that it currently resides on. And then we had Bradley Willard, who said, you know the anagram for that story, don't you?
Yeah.
Can we say that on here?
We haven't got a bleep machine, have we? We should get one. We should get a bleep machine.
Yeah.
But it's basically, the anagram is lame, SH, bleep, T.
Yeah. So thank you, Bradley. Yeah, we are aware of the anagram, and I would probably say that most people, if you haven't seen it, you'd know the anagram before even seeing the episode. Or the story. I keep saying episode, it's a two-parter, but yeah. And then on Facebook, I don't think you guys were thoroughly impressed that we were reviewing this one because only a few of you jumped on. Lewis Palmer. Timelash is constantly put among the worst Doctor Who has to offer by fans, but as with a lot of Colin Baker stories, I don't mind it. The production values are horrendous, but Colin is great. The H.G. Wells concepts are really good and funny. The Borad is also a really good-looking villain. 6 out of 10.
Wow, Lewis.
Cheers, Lewis. Stu Gee. You have to be in the right mood to get anything out of it.
What mood is that? Suicidal?
Yeah. I'm not sure if that's a sedative mood or so.
Sedated.
The Borad and the Blue Android look great, and Paul Darrow's sparring with the Doctor is a lot of fun. Unfortunately, the acting both of Vina and Herbert, again another good idea, leaves a lot to be desired, and it is by far Perry's worst story. A mix of the good and bad. Thank you, Stu. Greg Toby. I actually enjoy this story. I watched it the other day. I absolutely loved the character of Herbert. I loved the banter between him and Six. To be fair, I can't see why people hate it so much. A 9 out of 10.
Oh my goodness. He will have switched off this review. He won't have even got this far.
Thank you very much for your comment, Toby.
Yeah, thanks, Toby.
I mean that seriously. Thank you very much for your comment. If we ever bump into you at a convention or something, we'd love to talk to you about this and your thoughts on Timelash. Stuart Stockman. Well, Timelash is an anagram of lame beep. So thank you for that. And lastly, Matthew Rowney. I've not seen Timelash, and from what I've heard, I don't plan to either. And that's Matt from Who Addicts Reviews.
Yeah, you've got to watch it, Matt, because I got beef with you. You always berates me for liking Time of the Rani. Well, watch this.
You haven't seen
because this makes Time of the Rani look like a blimmin' masterpiece. So go and get it and watch it because you deserve it.
Yeah, I'm surprised you've not seen it, Matt.
Yeah,
you've cut us deep there.
Yeah,
you cut me real deep.
Cut me deep. Right, on Geeks Handbag Facebook, I had Yanto Williams. He says, "Not bad. It was the first classic episode I watched." Oh, Yanto, poor you.
Wow.
And I watched all the rest after that. So, good grief! I'm surprised you ever watched it again. Paula Black. Now, Paula is a huge Blake 7 fan.
Right.
And she says, "Poor. That's a story for another day. It is not the way to explain what has happened in the episode." Yeah. And Mr. Darrow's performance, I won't even start. Now, for Paula to say that says something because she loves Blake 7 and Paul Darrow. Right. Daniel Sadie, he says, I have got this story on DVD. I've watched it many times and I liked it. Okay, cool. Andy Frankham Allen, he also points out what it's an anagram for. So thanks, Andy. He says it's not great, but it's not the most awful Who ever, really.
Yeah. And
hey, Bandrills. And I bet Andy, I bet you were screaming at us for saying mandrills earlier. You can imagine.
Yep.
Pippa Morgan, she says, "Oh no, please don't send us into the disco pyramid." I mean the time match. Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. I only watch it for Paul Darrow.
Ooh.
Michelle Hardingham, she says she's got this one on TVD. Paul Darrow being gloriously slimy. Love it. Hey, wow. And finally, our old mate Harry Westergaard, he says it's the weakest story of season 22, which is a really strong series in my opinion. The Borad makeup is really good, and it's good to see Paul Darrow. It isn't terrible, just really weak.
Fair enough.
So there we go. So there's a few listeners out there like it. I'm glad you do. I mean, I love, it'd be boring if we all like the same thing.
Very true.
Yeah.
And I think we all don't like this, with the exception of a couple.
Yeah. It does often rate really low, doesn't it? Whenever they do the thing. And I think this is totally deserved. I think it does deserve to be ranked low. Whereas I always think Time of the Rani, which shows very often right next to it, doesn't.
Yeah, we didn't review that too badly, Time in the Rani.
No, well, it always gets sort of paired up in the same with this and Time Flight as well. You know, they're always in the bottom, and I always think, this is much worse, Time of the Rani.
Yeah.
Anyways,
that's a 2 and a 2.5 for Timelash. Thank you very much for getting in contact with us with your thoughts and opinions. What are we doing next week, dude?
Next week, we are doing a Matt Smith story, and we are going to do The Curse of the Black Spot. So that's pirates. Pirates.
No, not mermaids. Is it mermaids? Yeah.
Is there a mermaid in it?
I think so. Or
there's a supermodel in it, isn't there?
Supposedly a mermaid, isn't it? Turns out to be a nurse or something.
I can't remember. Well, that'll be fun. I can't remember a lot about that one.
Be a good one. So we're back to the modern stuff next week.
Back to a bit of Matt Smith.
You'll be glad to hear, because I think it was a few weeks ago, because we've done Time in the Rani, the TV movie, and now Timelash. So we're back to modern stuff next week.
Back to modern stuff. Although you say people will be pleased to hear it. This is another story, isn't it, that comes in for a lot of flack.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, is it deserved? We'll see.
And we've got one that comes in for a lot of flack, but one we've got potentially in a couple of weeks is also another belter that people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But you'll find out.
Yes, another one. Yeah, another one that does. There's a couple that I really, really want to do. But we're getting closer and closer to the Series 9, aren't we? Which is going to, obviously, as soon as we hit Series 9, we'll be doing that. So, but there's some good ones to come.
Yeah, there are some good ones, actually, before then.
Yeah.
That's done for episode 48, buddy.
Okay, that was the Timelash.
Timelash.
Did you play in the Tardis sound effects by mistake then, or is it always there?
It's always there.
Is it?
Yeah.
It worked. It sounded good, but I was thinking, don't remember that.
Oh man.
You did, didn't you?
No, I didn't, I promise.
Is it always there?
Yeah.
Oh wow, losing it.
Bloody hell, the heat's getting to you, mate.
The brain is boiled.
It is indeed. So thank you very much for sticking with us to the end. If you're still listening, it's quite an achievement.
Yeah.
In much the same way as watching all of Timelash. But we hope we've entertained you in some way and made it funny, I guess. And thank you so much for your comments as well, as usual. It's always really great to hear from you guys. Trivia. Last week we asked you, the Sycorax had control of people with which blood type? The answer, of course, Adam,
is A positive.
A positive.
That is right, isn't it? I haven't got the answer in front of me, but I did look earlier. Yeah, A positive, yeah.
Question for this week. Which floor on Satellite 5 was medical no emergency?
I don't know.
If you can put your mind back into that episode.
I think I know the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I know the episode, but I'm not sure the answer.
Yeah. Which floor on Satellite 5 was medical no emergency? Jump onto Twitter and Facebook. Fire us your answer for that one. And talking of Twitter and Facebook, if you jump onto our website, www.bigblueboxpodcast.co.uk, you'll see some links on there. You can go off to Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, give us a follow, give us a like, and join in the convo in between podcasts going out. Also, check out Adam's channel, The Geek's Handbag. Just do a search for that on Facebook or YouTube. And he's got some great stuff on there. Loads of Doctor Who, but also some other cool stuff as well.
Yeah.
Yes, so next week, Curse of the Black Spot. Tune in for our review of that, plus the normal news roundup and all that business. Until then, enjoy the sun, enjoy the heat, enjoy all that stuff. Have a great week. Until then, my name's Gary.
My name's Adam.
And remember, Allons-y!